Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video we are doing two things. The second thing we are doing, which is what you're probably clicking into it for, I am going to be pulling my sacred shards, hunting down this extra legendary champion, right? We don't have any boosted chances to pull legendaries from a sacred shard here. It's still the default 6%, but if we do pull a legendary, we'll get a second legendary champion. We're doing that today. The first part of the video I want to cover first, at least kind of quickly, some quick math stuff. I want to talk about whether this event is actually good, because it's actually kind of complicated. I'm not going to give you a comprehensive breakdown, but I'll give you like the broad strokes and how I think of this. I think this one could be pretty sketchy, but it can make sense to do. So, what I think is interesting about this, right, is comparing it to a 2x event, where it just doubles your chance of legendaries, right? You'll get twice as many legendaries in a 2x event, correct? Sure. So that's just as good as a 2-for-1 event. Maybe not as exciting, not as exotic, but it should be as good. Well, there's a couple of differences. For sure. The first main and most important difference is the mercy system, right? When you've gone a certain number of summons without pulling a legendary, you start getting bonus chances. Now, as you can see from sacred shards, it's pretty weak. It's not very good. With ancient shards, though, it actually is pretty strong because you get so many more ancients and the chance goes up more. This means that these double legendary events for ancient shards tend to actually be very worthwhile. For example, if you have, not unusually, gone, let's say, 100 ancients without a legendary, if you pull 120, you're going to be guaranteed with that bonus 20%, you're going to be guaranteed to get a legendary after 120 shards then. And that is very good for these double legendary events. Now, when it comes to the sacred events, this is what I worked out for myself. So first of all, I'm going to be looking, hopefully, to pull 20 sacreds today. I'm in a luxurious spot of having a lot. I've been saving like crazy. If I pull 20, what would I get in a 2x event? Well, that would be 12% chance. I'd be getting about 2.4 legendaries, roughly. Might have mercy system kick in a little bit, and I didn't factor that in, but generally speaking, you should be getting one legendary every 8 or so shards. So mercy system shouldn't really kick in unless you're unlucky, but it's not going to do too much, right? So that's what I'd be expecting, 2.4. But I actually found out with this, 17 sacreds is typically going to give you one legendary going by these default summon rates. Typically. But of course, mercy is going to kick in before then, which is going to help us out. It's not guaranteed. It is not guaranteed. But you've got a pretty reasonable chance. What I actually worked out for myself, a bit more complicated in terms of the maths for this one, but basically you work out your chance to fail. So we've got a 94% chance per pull to fail. I actually pulled 4 sacreds this weekend and didn't get any legendary from them. So I'm already 4 pulls into my mercy system, which means I'm going to have 8 pulls over here at 94% chance to fail. And then it starts going down. We're going to have a 92% chance to fail, or an 8% chance to succeed, then a 90, then an 88, and so on. And it decreases. Now, for me, that goes all the way down to, on our final shard, I'll have a 70% chance to fail, or a 30% chance on my final sacred shard, 20th sacred shard, a 30% chance to pull legendary. It's a bonus 24% from going into mercy. You work that all out, and what does it give you? You have to multiply this by 100 to get the percentage. There's a 4.6%, 4.7 if we round it up properly, 4.7% chance, about a 5% chance that we will just not pull any legendary. There's a 5% chance of failure from 20 shards. I got 26, so I can go further than that. There's still a chance to fail, but it's pretty low, so we are going to pull. So that's what's going on. Broadly speaking then, what this means is I think this event can be good if you have a lot of sacreds. I would say, considering that you're pretty likely, on average, a typical person will tend to get one legendary out of 17 sacreds. I think if you've got 17 sacreds, this event actually becomes pretty reasonable to do. Might go so far as say 20 sacreds to make it a bit safer, and then hopefully you hit it early and you're good to go. You have to always be prepared in this case. Same thing though at 2x events. You could get unlucky and just not get any legendary. It can happen. I would say for me 20 would be sort of the cutoff point of feeling pretty safe, and means I'm in a perfect spot. I got 20 to pull. I have extra in case I don't get it. We could still get unlucky, but most likely I'll have some sacreds to spare for the next fusion, which is the most important thing. Remembering, free-to-play players, last tip before you get into pulling, if you're free to play, you're not in a position to buy. Most people typically, in fact, aren't in a position to buy sacreds because they're so expensive. Even people that might spend a decent amount of money in the game, there's typically much better things to spend your money on than on sacred shards. And generally speaking, you want about 4 sacreds worth to complete fusions these days. 4 sacreds is probably the minimum I'd be going into a fusion with. We'll have a little bit of a break before the next fusion. It's probably going to start in like 1 or 2 weeks, but I haven't tracked the date properly. But yeah, 4 sacreds would be sort of a minimum to be safe for that. You can get more. Of course, if you're a spender, you can do it with void shards, and it's easy if you're spending, but let's not go there. Let's dive in. Let's pull some shards. We'll have to make some space on the way if needs be. Let's pull some shards. Here we go. Okay. I would love any. Oh, I was thinking, would we get it on the first shard? Man, if you get it early, if you hit this early, you are doing so well. Gerhard the Stone, get out of here. What am I looking for? Any non-dupe is always a blessing. Of course, Duchess would stand out as amazing. Lady Kimmy, Kantra. There's actually quite a few. Doom Priest epic, very, very good epic, actually. Ooh, the loading screen, catching me out right there. I actually have a video of 6-star Shatterbones. You can check it out if you want to see what, not just 6-star, but a 6-star awakened, fully awakened Shatterbones. So that was pretty fun. We'll go again. Yeah, any non-dupe would be great. There's plenty of really good legendaries I'm looking for. Here we go. Torture Helm. Can do some fun solo stuff, but not interesting to me. Honestly, in terms of epics, there's very few. Oh, every time. I keep thinking it's going to be every time. Luthia. Never really seen her used ever, I don't think. Who we got? Is that Shatterbones again? No, it's Grimskin. He looks the same. We got about 3 champions. Maneater as well. They all look the same, really. They need to be changed. We've got our epic. It's Chani. Looks cool. Not very good. You know, you start to get worried. Another Lodric. You start to get. I think we pulled him already. Did we? No, maybe not. I feel like I pull Lodric all the time. You start to get worried when you don't hit that legendary. But of course, we're not expecting to this early on. We'd have to be very lucky. Every shard that we go deeper, though, we're expecting a better chance. A better chance. Lich, well, not an awful champ, and not great. Canoness, definitely no good. Let's go again. Come on. Let's see that gold. Oh, the load. I hate the load. The little pause. It gives you hope. Ripper. Rip on out of here. Maybe, yeah, Lady Annabelle, probably the main one I'm looking for. There's another Hoskarul. If I hadn't already pulled a Hoskarul and ruined my fragments for Clan v Clan, we've just pulled one right there. One thing especially I like about these videos as well, I think that it's a bit more exciting with a double legendary than just pulling in a 2x event, right? Because when it pops, it's so hype. And that's sort of the appeal. Oh, yo, Trumbor, this guy's actually new for me. Well, I got him for the fusion, but I ate him up. So that's kind of cool. I think this guy can hit pretty hard. Ally protection for your team, increased defense on himself. I think this move can hit pretty hard where he cleanses a debuff. He can hit decently well. He can decrease debuffs on himself. Interesting champ. I mean, not, I don't think useful for me, but a good champ overall. We're ripping through the sacreds at this point, guys. We are running out. Oh, Enda Moonbeam. He is new from the new faction and newly added as well. He looks pretty darn cool. I love his sword. Unfortunately, let's check the review. The reviews are better than I thought. I think this champion is pretty meh, to be honest. I'm going to check him out because he's new for me. Decreased defense, A1. Not great. Not great. 3 times at random can increase random debuffs. Maybe okay for early game clan boss stuff. AoE attack with Leech. 3-turn cooldown, but increases his speed for every enemy under Leech. I don't think, very unlikely, I'll be pulling Enda, unfortunately. Let me pause. I'm considering buying this. Let me pause. I'll be right back. I'm back. I figured there wasn't time to think through. I just freed up 11 spaces. We have 11 sacreds left, so we're getting, it's getting pretty spicy at this point. 11 sacreds. This could be a super unlucky video. We could have done all that maths at the start to be bamboozled. Not happening. A Bess? Okay, who's the extra? Who is the extra? I pulled her recently. She's my last Lego I pulled. It's new. Ignatius. Okay, cool. These are both very old champions. You can probably tell from their graphics and stuff. Abbess, I have pulled her before. That's cool though. It's some Sacred Order faction Guardians. Not a bad champion. She comes in, AoE decrease attack. Then she's got an AoE nuke as well. And this. She's not amazing. She doesn't see all that much use, I would say. Mostly for doing the faction wars and like secret rooms quickly and stuff. But she's cool. I haven't booked her yet. I've got her built. I will book her out. Good aura as well for the faction crypt. I will book her out at some point as a luxury. She could be a great nuker if he pulls her early. I feel like if you're sort of mid or late game, she sort of falls off and comes back in like end game. She's like early game or end game sort of champ. Ignatius, we got, by the way, 10 sacreds still in the bank, guys. Ignatius, now he is the one that is new for me, and this one's actually pretty good. Couple of ways you can build him. So his A1, small chance to stun, awful move, really bad. A2, battle shade, 4-turn cooldown AoE with a 75% chance to provoke. It's an AoE. It's not amazing, but is an AoE in its defense base. He does hit hard as a defense nuker. Then turn to Ash. This is a 5-turn cooldown AoE attack with 100% chance of HP burn that cannot be resisted. So I think there's two main ways to build him. Number one, you can build him properly, which is you're going to build him as a defensive nuker. He's going to help you clear through faction wars pretty well. I think there's an Ogryn secret room. He's going to really help with that. Some Doom Tower secret rooms would be good for. You can build him as a defensive nuker, and he's going to hit really hard, right? He's got 2 AoEs, albeit on longer cooldowns, but he does have 2 AoEs. Their debuff effects are decent. And yeah, it can be good for that. Defense in all battles aura, but it's kind of small-ish compared to others. Not a bad way to build him. The other option is to build him with like no gear at all. So rubbish for faction wars and secret rooms and everything like that. But good for Spider, mainly. The reason he comes in and he has a AoE HP burn that cannot be resisted. Put him into a team with Sissia or what's his name? The other dude. I've completely forgotten. The undead guy or Knight's Revenant guy that explodes HP burn. You put him in with an AoE HP burn exploder, and he can basically put up that HP burn. It's 100% consistent. Debuffs, basically your typical AoE HP burners, every debuff in the game, there's always a 3% chance that it will be resisted, unless it has this text right here, cannot be resisted, which is very unusual. There's always a 3%, no matter how much accuracy you have, for stuff to be resisted. So yeah, you can sort of get away. It's quite useful for that. Maybe I'll build him with that. Just make that spider run 100%, make it faster, more consistent. Let me know, what way would you build him? For me, I'm leaning towards speeding up the faction wars, and I like building champions in good gear instead of these cheesy sort of builds. He'd be decent champ for Hydra as well. AoE burn, provoke. It's on a bit of a long, they're both on long cooldowns, so I think again he's sort of an early game Hydra champion, but glad to get somebody new. Ignatius, there we go. Like I said, 10 sacreds in the bank. So we pulled 16 and we got 2 legendaries. That is pretty decent, guys. Can't really complain. I mean, 17 for a legendary is sort of what we were expecting. We had already built up Mercy a bit, so we were slightly unlucky, as it were. But still, like if we were to pull 16, I'd say it's pretty similar, to be honest. Yeah, we would have got in a 2x event, we got 1.9 legendaries. So we did slightly better than that by pulling here today. We've done slightly better, only slightly, but hey, it still counts. And number 1, it was fun. So there you go, guys. There he is, the red dot. Wait, who is new in Orcs? Is it Trumbor? Did I not get Trumbor? Surely I got a Trumbor. I'm very confused by that. Enda is new, going to the vault. And we've got our new boy, Ignatius. Thank you for watching. Hope you had fun. Let me know how your polls went. Like I said, I do think this is very risky. I'd really recommend 20 plus sacreds to be safe. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.